Hello, I'm Witch Nikki, and some of you may know that I am an author, and I've been putting off some writing for a while because during COVID it's just been very hectic for my mind to be gathering stories and information and stuff like that. I've had some of my own health issues with my thyroid, and it's kind of come back again a little bit. I put this on for an earlier video, but it is kind of a little bit uncomfortable. So I think I'm going to take it off. I was saying happy birthday to my grandson on a video, and he and I have a special little bond with wolves, and I thought that might make him feel nice. So I gave him a stone carved wolf on a necklace. One time he was visiting me, and he liked it. He wanted to take it off and look at it closer. He was just a little kid. And so I let him. And then I told him that I wanted him to have it because I wanted him to always have a little something that he could remember me by. So, that's what I put it on for. I think the other one I had was here, but I think maybe it was here because I'm twisted around on this thing. So I think it was here, and it's always been kind of like a little lump there. So I'm hoping it hadn't switched, But I'm pretty sure that whenever I've had problems, it's been over here because you can't really see it too much. It's not a big lump yet, but I'm seeing my doctor next week. Don't worry. And I've had some blood tests going on, and hopefully everything will be just fine. But I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I thought I'd read something that I've written. And this is one of a kind. It's my story. It's my information gathered. And I'll just start reading it to you, and we'll just take it from there. I'm going to bring this up a little bit so you can see that I'm reading it. I'm going to switch it around, and you're going to see it for a brief moment. See this? Okay. All right. Because the laptop screen does not like to be recorded from my camera phone. It always goes, has those little lines going through it. So I started writing this. I thought that I put down 2003, but I know it wasn't 2003, and you'll know. So I've been making a little bit of edits while I've been sitting here. But as I go on, I'll make them as I go on if I need to. It was following Ginger being born, not right away. A few years later, she was about 4, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to start reading. The Not So Scary Book of Shadows, a Wiccan guide for young children and beginners of the craft, by Witch Nikki Jo Starflower Lucero. At my present time, right now, my last name is still Lucero. Okay. I'm hoping to change that someday, maybe by the time this gets, published. So this says September 23rd, 2013. Basically, it's still kind of in notes sort of form, not really, but my plans were that this was going to be, it says the first 3 chapters, and I don't know. I only listed two. One says truth, what TV and the movies do not tell you. Chapter 2, magic via spellcraft. Oh, here's number 3. Sorry. I should have put them, instead of listing them, let's see. Yeah. Here's my first edit. Because they were like listed. 3, Halloween versus Samhain. Introduction. So you have been told something about Wicca, or you want to learn about it and know more. First of all, no one should tell you that you belong in some religion you do not, in some religion you do not know about. However, some families think that when a child is born into their family, the child must follow the family's religion. If you grow up in a Wiccan family, it is up to you and your parents to teach you and learn all you can about this religion. Let me put in there, let me add, or not. Depending on if this is what you want to learn and know. Okay. Now, from the time you're born till about 16, you should be respectful enough of what your parents are trying to teach you. Learn what you want and can from them, okay? Because I'm not here to tell anybody, oh, if they aren't teaching you Wicca, then you need to just storm out of the house and never come back. No, I'm not saying that. If they're not teaching you, if they're teaching you Christianity and you don't want to learn it, you're not going to storm out of the house. You're in their house and you need to learn what they're teaching you. That's what I did. I didn't know that I was going to learn anything else, but it got to a point where naturally what I was being taught in the, dare I even say, in the Mormon church, which is a Christian church, that they teach you one specific thing, and later on during that time, now I was going from the time I was little, so I was born in 1959, so through the 60s, the 70s, and around there, around when I was 16, I decided I wasn't going to go anymore. Now, this is not in the story, but I might add it, but I just don't want to take the time to do that right now. Because then everything gets kind of complicated. But as long as you're growing up in anybody's household and you have some adults telling you what you need to learn, okay, you need to try to just bide your time learning that, whatever it is. And if it's somewhere along the way in your journey of being a kid, you're like, this doesn't make sense, go ahead and ask some questions. Write them down so you can say, you know what, I got a question. Ask a question. Ask a few. Okay? And if they still don't register with you, and nowadays y'all have Google, and you can do several kind of searches trying to find whatever you want to about whatever religion you want to. It's all on here. But I figured what I'd do is about writing a book about this particular religion, and I might add a few Um, a few more in here. I wanted it to be towards what real witches, in my perspective, are like. There, what I mean by my perspective, I mean by how I live and how I think, and there are many people like me um, that um, that don't practice certain teachings, and there are some that do practice different teachings. It's not up to me to say that the different teachings are terrible or whatever. Um, but what is true for you is your truth, is your real reality. Okay. Um, and when I was 16, in that church, I did not um, sit well. It didn't sit well with me what they were teaching. Not everything. Some of it was just wonderful, and I had no problems learning it. But later on, there was some stuff that I just said, well, why are they doing this? Okay. And then sometimes, you know how you don't feel like you should ask an authoritative figure why? Because then they say, don't ask me why, just do it. Well, that's not the right thing to do. I don't think that's the right thing to do. If you got somebody telling you to just believe it, and your mind or your body or your spirit or whatever it is telling you something's shady here, something's wrong, then listen to yourself. Go ahead and be safe in your home. Don't go saying, I don't like this stuff, because you're going to get in trouble, okay, for it. And it's not worth it to become homeless or be kicked out of your house because you don't want to believe what they're teaching you, okay? So, uh, so first of all, no one should tell you what that you belong in some religion you do not know about. And that goes with Wicca or any other religion. Okay? We all come into this world in different families. And you might come into a family and they're Christian and that's what they believe in, or Catholic or Jewish or whatever, Protestant or whatever. Okay? You don't have to. Now listen to me very carefully. You do not have to believe what they are teaching you if it doesn't make sense, or there's some alarm going off in your head saying, this is not right. Whatever this is, it's not right. And yes, you have authorities over you, your parents, um, whoever's raising you, telling you that you've got to believe this. And the option is you believe it or you get beaten or you get thrown out of the house. Then you better just act like you believe it. It will not kill you to go along with whatever it is that they're teaching you until you become of a good, safe age that you could get out in the world on your own and make your own money, get your own place, and all the while just go along with whatever it is. And then when you're safe and you're old enough to go out on your own, you go out on your own and you believe what you want to believe. But don't do it in a family that's going to persecute you and do terrible things to you if you don't know. I mean, if you don't follow along with it. Okay, so, however, some families think that when a child is born into their family, the child must follow the family's religion. Okay? If you grow up in a Wiccan family, it is up to you and your parents to teach and learn all you can about this religion. Okay, so If you don't grow up in it, you still need to learn about it. If you do grow up in it and you got questions, ask. Now, not most Wiccan people that I know of are good, wonderful people, okay? But if you're in a household that believes in witchcraft, okay? Now, this is something totally two different things. You can be a witch and have a different religion, okay? Any kind, okay? But when you're Wiccan, you could be a witch or not practice witchcraft and believe in Wicca. And you kind of pick up, I don't want to say magic, but you pick up certain things in Wicca religion that might be considered magic. But I'll be talking about that in this book. Some people have the outlook or the train of thought that you can only be born a witch. And there's been times, I must admit, that I thought just the same thing, because as a child, I didn't know if I was or wasn't. But I most certainly know now. And I'll be putting this kind of stuff in my book there too later on, some of the things that have happened. But I'm just going to stop and pause right now for a moment. Okay, so however, some children are born witches and do not know it. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I was born a witch and didn't know it. And what I mean by pretty certain is that nobody told me growing up, you're a witch or you have some abilities that other people don't have. But there are people who can learn along the way to become one. Okay. And it's not like in Harry Potter where you have the mudbloods and you have, witches, and most definitely do not have wizards, okay? I'm gotten off a track here, but witches, male and female, are witches. Males are not wizards. That's movie and TV, okay? So, let me see here. Okay. Okay, so I got kind of lost. If you grow up in a Wiccan family, it is up to you and your parents to teach you and learn all you can about this religion, or not, depending on if this is what you want to learn and know. However, some children are born witches and do not know it. Or even, and know it. They only sense it. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even know that I was sensing things when I saw the things that I saw. Okay. Okay. Wicca is one path to follow if you are a witch. Now, I could have learned, let me see this. Let me see. I want to follow along with my little crochet hook. Wicca is a religion of some witches. Some people are witches, who are witches do not follow Wicca religion. Okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, some people who are already witches, they grow up and either their family is teaching them um, different religions in the witch world, if you want to call it that. Go ahead. It doesn't much matter anymore. Wicca is a religion of some witches. Some people who are witches do not follow the Wiccan religion. Okay, there are so many points of view for this. I am not writing all points of view. This is not open for debates. But if you challenge something I have written, that is a good sign. Always question anything that comes to you and you wonder about, or question. Questions are good. They tell us there might be some information that we need. Okay? Now, like I said, it seems that I have written a little bit here, but I don't know how much I've written about my past. I don't remember. I haven't even seen this, like I said. I've written it in 2013, and here it is 2021. So it's been a time. It's been a while there. But yes, ask questions. Ask anybody that you can trust questions. Jot down their answers. And if you don't like them, move on to somebody else who you can trust. If now that we have computers and stuff, what I like to do for anything that I'm questioning or trying to find out some answers is I look up at least three, 4, 5, whatever you want, different sources. Now, when you type in a question, and this place called, I think it's called Quora, 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 I think. If that comes up, don't depend on that. Don't depend on Yahoo Answers, things like that. If anybody needs me to help you find some places, I'll find, 3 or 4 places that you could go and look. Or show me the places that you found, and I'll let you know if they're good, if they're reliable. Okay? I wouldn't really depend on Wikipedia either. Find things that I don't even know. I don't even have any websites right here, right now, of places that I do. But if I find some, if I go and look, I might put them down on a link after I've posted this on YouTube. Okay, I was raised in a Christian family, but I did not. But I did question some of the teachings, and when the leaders or teachers of this church did not answer these questions, I continued to search for a better spiritual path. I left Christianity, but still respect it in general. But I have selected the parts of it that I do understand and believe. The rest of it left behind. Now, what rest of it am I talking about? I'll probably write that down in this and go further into it in another chapter. Every child does need guidance into spirituality. Hold on a second. I was eating trail mix with nuts and stuff like that. Got kind of thirsty. My voice is getting a little bit. Okay. Every child does need guidance into spirituality. However, adults in a children's world, need to allow them to find their own core belief systems and also learn with the child, so the child will be safe with their choices. So nowadays, since children have access to computers and social media and all kinds of stuff out there, you, as parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents, you need to participate with your child when they're online with stuff like that, especially stuff like this. Not just with Wicca, because please, there are a lot of other religions out there that are way worse, okay? And there's even cults out there that are terrible, and you don't want your children getting in on those. Some religions are very dangerous. A child needs to know they can leave whatever one they have found and begin to study. So if they find something and they start to study it, they don't have to get caught inside it. They can leave at any time, and they need to know that. Nobody out there should be telling you, once you get into this, there's no getting out. There's always a way to get out. And if not, if anybody ever tells you that in the beginning, don't even get started with it. Okay. We all should study a religion from the outside, from other sources, and then if it seems true for us, we can examine it from inside. Yet, always know we can leave it if something does not fit your beliefs, okay, with our beliefs, okay. So yeah, if you start studying something and you're like, oh, this is really good, check. Next, okay, this, yay, great. Oh, no, 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 no. We're not doing whatever that is, okay? No. Study something, research it before you get into it, like going to any kind of meetings or anything like that. Even if they're online meetings, because I have even, as an adult, gotten into a time or two of some bad situations, but I'm lucky to be out. Okay. So then I go on. Okay. I just put my name on like every row or so, every paragraph, because I don't know. Sometimes I get afraid somebody's gonna take my stuff or whatever. That being said, is the reason I'm writing this book. I am writing this book with my granddaughter in mind. Since then, I've had a grandson. So with him also. At the time of this writing, it says she is age 4 at the time I write this. Okay. Today, she's 11. I write this so someday, when and if she wonders who I was or who she is, she will have honest answers, safe answers. At this writing, she does know me and herself to be witches. I've always just included her. I'm not forcing her to be a witch, but I know she's got some special abilities that at this age she had these special abilities. I do live with her mom, so whatever her mom wants her to be and believe in is up to her. But I've always, as soon as she showed this little ability in front of me and to me without her even knowing anything about all of this, is before we started talking about it, I just knew it's something that you know. However, some people in our lives do not know or understand it. She recently watched part of The Wizard of Oz, and the Green Witch scared her very much. And I personally don't like it. I was not there when she was allowed to watch it. Okay, see, so, I mean, she does live with me, but sometimes she watches stuff with other people. Okay. Another family member was. I took her on an outing and I explained that we were not green and never going to look that hideous. Okay. She seemed relieved. However, I still want to write something so someday she knows more about who we are. So I have the idea that there might be other children who wonder about witches, have questions, and need honest answers. This is my gift to my granddaughter and to anyone wishing to know about good witches, and that we live everywhere and truly harm none. Okay, what I might want to put there instead of good witches, Wiccan witches. Wiccan witches, okay? Now, I'm not trying to say that the other witches that are not Wiccan, because there's different kinds, that they're bad. They just believe in some other stuff that are not considered to be good things with most people in society. Okay. Okay, so she seemed relieved. However, I still want to write something so someday she knows about who we are, or at least who I am. So I have the idea that there might be other children who wonder about witches and have questions and need answers. Okay, sorry if I read things twice. This is my gift to my granddaughter. Okay. We are police, teachers, ministers, authors, moms, and dads. We are children. We care for our Mother Earth and animals. We know how things grow, and how to use them for food and healing. We are not green, not scary. Blessed be. So then I write a note here, and this is as far as I got during this time. This is the beginning of the book I'm writing. Okay, so yes, and I thought there was probably some more that I had written somewhere, but since I've had different computers along the way, some of that other stuff might have gotten lost. Let me look and see. I wonder what this is. It says two years ago. I wonder what this is. Pretty long, whatever it is. What is this? Oh, this is a collection. This might be kind of fun for me to go over too. And I wrote some of this stuff a few years back. Updated 8/15/2017. And at that time, Ginger was now at that time 8 years old. So you could see that there's been quite these jumps. The beginning of this I wrote in 2013, like the other one was about that time too. So let me see what I write in here. This is a collection of short stories. Let me get my little, so I could use it to point where I'm reading. This collection of short stories I wrote for the people in my life. Sometimes I let go of pain or a wrong done to me. Sometimes in times of healing. Before you close the book and walk away, I want you to know these are not your ordinary stories written by a lonely old woman. These are not romance novels by someone who has never tasted the sweetness of love, the joy of birth, or the sting of death, malice, or being cheated on. No, this is a well-seasoned collection of potpourri genre storytelling. If you are expecting lessons in cooking or knitting, you are looking in the wrong aisle. I am a Cherokee Irish Wiccan and a divorced mother and grandmother. If you think my stories are boring, then you need to look somewhere else for excitement. I am a witch, and I am a solo practitioner of that religion. Let me fix that. I am a Wiccan witch, and I'm a solo practitioner of that religion. Traditions of storytelling run on both sides. My mother's family tree line, her father was Irish and they were known as storytellers, and her mother was Cherokee, also big on telling stories. I have been reading since I was 3 years old, telling stories since 4 years old. And I don't mean like lies, I just mean I had stories to tell. My mom used to tell me, you need to go write that down. Well, I was a little bit too little to really do all the right. As soon as I got into school, maybe, I think I would make little booklets and write little stories. I would take paper and little pad of paper and staple them together and draw pictures and make stories in there. Some of my stories are based on truth, woven with just enough spicy fiction to make it fun, sad, scary, or whatever it needs to perk it up. People do this in life situations, perk up a dull story to make it worth listening to. That fish caught was always a little bit smaller until the story was told, and before you know it, it was a whale. It is part of the tradition to lure the listener into reality and twist it a bit to lock them in for a whopper of a finish. We do it to save our butts when we are late, when we didn't finish an assignment or make a deadline. We do it when caught and need an alibi, and some just do it for fun and entertainment. It is part of storytelling traditions. Even movies use special effects or twist the truth around to make the story more alive or more of whatever it is lacking. I will also use the example of one of my favorite authoresses, J.K. Rowling, and her hero, Harry Potter. I myself am a Wiccan, and we do not just wave a wand and yell out a Latin word to cast our spells or use spellcraft. There is so much more to it than that, and if J.K. Rowling wrote out every spell, or the movie took time to do them honestly, the movies would never finish and books would not get written. So yes, some of it is truthful and some is based on truth and some are 100% imagination. It is up to each reader to enjoy them as they are written for entertainment and fun. Now, other writings are for educational purposes, okay? But we don't want to get them mixed up, do we? If there is something I want to read as truth, I will write a note about it to let you know, either as a footnote or at the end of a story. If it gives something away as an introduction, some of my stories are not for some people. I will rate them at the beginning and give a small introduction to warn those who might not like certain material. All in all, I hope my stories are enjoyed. Thank you. So what I mean there is that down here are some of my stories in this format here, or some stories, and I'll let you know if you might not want to read it. You might want to skip it over because it's like a collection of short stories, all different kinds. So some of it might be too much for some people, some might be just fine. Now I wrote a dedication here, and I'm just going to leave it maybe, and I'll fix it or change it later on. But at this time, because this was written, well, I put an update here in August 15th to 2017. Dedicated to my family. I dedicate all my family stories to my family. 3 daughters, Michelle, Emiko, and Sally, and granddaughter, Ginger Lily. My children's stories are inspired by her. At this writing, she is 4 years old. My first children's book was published April 1st, 2013. Also to my eldest brother, Steve Trek, whose support and encouragement have kept me going. My fantasy stories are dedicated to my spiritual sister, Judith. I'm leaving her last name out for her privacy. Also to Jessie, who has read my work and encouraged me. So this is updated 8/15. Ginger was now 8 years old at that time. And since then, since this is 2021, my grandson River is just turning 8 today. Contents: stories for adults and older teens. Genre: dark, paranormal, Native American, modern, traditional, and drama. The first story I have listed here is rated mature themes and language, age 15 plus, more or less. Actually, Ginger's 11. She could probably read this with no problem. Does it have bad language? Sure, a little bit, but she's seen some on TV. But she doesn't use any. She refuses flat out. She just, I don't know, she's really got a good bad language filter on her mouth, let me tell you. She's never even slipped and said a bad word. Never. she goes a little bit overboard on some of her bad language, but we're not going to go there. So that was story 1. Story 2. Story 1 is 2 p.m. Circle of Crazy Females. Story 2 is Shapeshifter. It's violent graphic. It has violent graphic scenes. Age 15 plus, I would say. Story 3, The Biggest Geode. Some mild violence and language. Age 15 plus. Story 4, The Bleeding Sun. Some adult themes and graphic scenes. Age 15 plus. Story 5, Making Things Right. Cultural beliefs, peacefully written. Age 15 plus. Just because it's a little bit much. I think most of these are for age 15 plus. I just wanted to be on the safe side. But if you think your child, like Ginger can read any of these. And like I said, she's 11, so she can read any of them. But some people are a little bit more strict with the reading material that their children get to read. Story 6, I Will Tuck You In, inspired by Enter the Sandman by Metallica. Graphic and adult themes and language, age 15 plus. Story 7, Sasquatch Taxidermy, rated 15 plus for slight adult theme. Story 8, 3 years, 2 cups of coffee later, train stop, rated 15 plus for adult violence. Note, I'm really not sure what age group should or shouldn't be allowed to read my stories. This is a guideline only. There is use of violent situations and adult language in some of my stories. And I'm kind of going by what we've watched on Netflix and other TV programs. If they have a rating there, I'll take a note of it mentally. And I'm like, okay, so TV says this group, this age group is MA, mature adults, and sometimes we've watched it, and then we've decided Ginger can watch it, and because nothing that we haven't talked to her about already. But recently we were watching, it's a series, I'll tell you, it's called Sabrina. Okay, so maybe a lot of you like that program. I do and I don't. It kind of deals with what we were talking about earlier. That kind of story of witchcraft goes into an evil, dark side, what I call evil, when you're talking about demons and dark lords and devils and stuff like that. That some things that some witches do, probably. I don't know any personally, and I'm definitely not one that would do anything like that that's on that program. So then I have And the Spiders Danced, a collection of poems. And let me see. I'm just going to read the titles of these poems. Okay, let me see. Life, Death, Love, Hate. I Try. Webs. And the Spiders Danced. I have to change the spelling on something here. Okay. Sacred Soulmate Wedding. Rain. The Box of Gold. A poetically written mini story. Oh, night. Childhood development. A sleepless night. Like a painting in my mind. Deep inside. Time. Men. Things. The drums. Pain poem. A few days. WTFOOK. Christmas Hallows Eve. You. Death comes. The deepest bond. Rated R. Erotic adult content. Nothing meant something. Mom. I'm not crazy. McDonald. My tears fall. Their first kiss. Why did I put it like that? Okay. Copycat traditions. And then there's some haikus. Haikus pretty much could be read by anyone. Hold me, sunflowers, cherish, wolf, soulmate, candle, choices, bad times, 1998 through 1903. How did I get so much stuff into one little haiku? I don't know. Healing, freedom, natural happiness, unbottled. Now it says family style stories. There's only one, and it's called The Little Tree. So what I was trying to do here, I won't do it this time because we're almost at an hour. So I'm not going to do it anymore. So what I'm going to do here is, this is like a presentation of that. And so, and also the other book that I mentioned before I got started on all of that. From time to time, I'm going to be talking about that one and how is it going, and this one, because these stories are mine. They're personal. They've already been written, and you can't copy them because number one, I've already read them to so many people in my classes that I used to have in my creative writing classes. Some of them were assignments and became. So these here have been here for quite a while. I don't feel like reading to you the story that I'm working on right now, which is going to be a novel. And I'll tell you why. I'm dying to, but I'm in the process of working with that story still, and I don't want to share it online at all. I've only shared it with one person that I can trust, and he knows who he is, and I know who he is. So, and I trust him. He's not going to take my story. So anyways, some other time I'll go back here and I'll read maybe randomly one of these stories, or maybe I'll just start at the top. Now, when I read an adult story that's, I think I said 13 plus, 15 plus, I might have to rate it as such. So that will mean that I won't be getting comments, because I've noticed on YouTube, when you put something here that is meant for children, people are going to look at it and read it and then that's not for children. But I've done it because my material isn't really that graphic on some things that I've talked about before this. But it's not really, it's not bad. Most of the time I've been telling about how to make, what do you call them? tutorials on how to make stuff. And they're not really made for children, but they're not bad for children to watch. So, oops. Anyways, my voice is getting a little bit a struggle for me. I need to drink some more water. So I'm going to post this one first because it's almost an hour. I'm going to go on to this one another time. Now that I found it, I know where it's at. I'm going to work on the other story that I was mentioning before. And I'm also going to, I have so much to do as far as writing my other story. Where I'm having trouble in the novel that I'm writing now, I'll let you know what is the problem is that during COVID, we went on a lockdown, and I kind of just got sucked into doing whatever I could on the outside here to survive, and I wasn't able to stay focused on building relationships in this novel with other people because I have no idea how to make or build a relationship sometimes, it seems like. Most everything, after thinking about it for such a long time, for the past 20 years, all of my relationships have been online. So, yeah. Just before COVID hit, I was going to meetings and speaking with other people and trying to learn how to build relationships. I could say that much. And it was nice. And then we had COVID, and it was just like, okay, go back to your rooms, stay put, hang on. So, yeah. Well, that's about it for now, actually. I don't know. Yeah, because it's almost like a couple more minutes, I was going to say. But the story that's on here first just happens to be Circle of Crazy Females. 2 p.m., Circle of Crazy Females. And I don't want to get started on that story, not now. It's a long story, kind of. So thanks for joining me, and if you've liked what you've seen so far, please hit subscribe and give me a thumbs up before you walk away. Just hit that. If you don't subscribe, just hit like. So I'll know that people are looking. But if you're here looking as long as you are, if you're watching this right now, please hit the thumbs up. Okay? Thank you.